Hi, my name's Warren, and Ellie and I have been coming to LifePoint for a few months now and really love it. I have an opportunity today to talk about Aussie mission, and that's something that's really close to my heart, so I'm glad to share about this. And just want to begin by talking about the context for a lot of our resourcing when it comes to Aussie mission is stuff from the US, which is great, but we have our own unique sort of personality and our own unique challenges here in Australia, and I think that it's important to actually understand that and to think about, well, what does it mean to reach the people who are around us here in this wonderful land of ours? One of the verses that I take great heart from is from the Apostle Paul. It's in the book of Acts, chapter 26, verse 29, when he's speaking to Agrippa and making a case for the Christian faith. And Agrippa basically says to him, Paul, do you think that so quickly you can convince me about the Christian faith? And the Bible records Paul saying that short time or long, I pray that all those listening to me can become what I am, except for these chains. He was in chains for his faith at the time. And that verse has really stuck with me over a lot of years. I've been passionately involved and engaged in Aussie mission for decades. And that idea of short time or long, I think, is really, really important, because I believe the key to the Aussie heart turns slowly, mostly, and that we have to play the long game and be patient enough in the reaching out to the people who are around us. Now, I've had the privilege of being a sports chaplain for a bunch of years, rugby league particularly. I'm chaplain for the Devils at the moment. Great hashtag, chaplain for the Devils. But I want to tell you a story really about the mission that I've been involved in and how one thing can lead to another. One of the things that I think is really important for Aussie mission is to actually be in people's lives and for them to realize that you are a normal person, probably a person that they like, and someone who's credible in their world. And often that takes a long time to get to that sort of status where people go, okay, I like this person, I like you, and I want to have you over for a barbecue or whatever that might be. So that is really, really important for Aussies. Aussies don't really want to hear people preaching at them too much. They don't really want to argue about faith. The way that they mostly discover who Jesus is and encounter his followers is by simple relationships, whether that's at work, at school, neighborhood, or whatever. So it's being patient and being in people's world in a way that's helpful and brings hope to them, and then going from there. So basically, one of the players for the Brisbane Broncos became a follower of Jesus last year, and I played a little part in that story, and I'm going to share why. I was a chaplain for North Queensland Cowboys, and this person's brother was on the team there. And he was incredibly lonely at the start of every season because he'd moved to North Queensland to play, and he was away from family, and so he often was homesick. So the club got me involved in just trying to make him feel comfortable and at home, and I did that, and we formed a little bit of a friendship. And then he had a relationship crisis in his life, and he phoned me up kind of out of the blue, I guess, and we began to talk about that, and I tried to speak hope and love into his life in a situation that was pretty tricky for him. One thing led to another, and I had the opportunity, with his permission, just to share the simple truth of the Christian gospel, and I was able to lead him to Jesus. Now, what happened was I moved to Brisbane after that, and I was speaking somewhere, and there was this person down the front row who was frantically texting as I was speaking at a Salvation Army gig, and he came up to me straight after the service, and he said to me, "Oh, you're the guy that my brother talks about." And I was able to connect with this player. And as a result, he, after a long time really, became a follower of Jesus just last year and was baptized. But why I like that story is that it talks about that sort of ripple effect when people encounter Jesus in a way that's authentic by people who they think are credible, and share that story with someone else, and that person might share it with another person. So you don't have to be like a hardcore evangelist or someone who can preach or anything like that. In fact, probably the key to the Australian heart is more low-key and just average people who are doing this sort of thing, and the ripple effect goes out. So as we think about Aussie mission, we recognise that Australians are a little bit different to people in other parts of the world, then we need to think about, well, okay, how do we do this here in this country? One of the approaches that we need to have is the willingness to play the long game in people's lives and be patient. Short time or long, we've got to be there for the long haul, I think, in the lives of our friends and family and those sorts of people who we love and would really love for them to encounter Christ. And slowly but surely, opportunities arise where we get to share a little bit of who Jesus is to us. And if something special happens and if Christ comes into someone's life, saves them, then they can be the person that tells the other and tells the other, and on we go. So LifePoint, you've got the great heart, you've got the right tone as a church, down to earth, wonderful church. And my prayer is that we can all become just a little bit better at reaching the people around us by just relaxing, being a legit person in people's lives, helping them out, and little by little getting to share the heart of who we are, which is servants of Jesus Christ, our Saviour and Lord. And my prayer is that little by little this country can be reached as the message ripples out through the lives of people. So God bless you on the mission. See ya.